Доброе утро. Good morning. Доброе утро. IT, пожалуйста, выключите звук. Мы начинаем. Хорошо ли слышно?
Доброе утро, да, хорошо.
Отлично, начинаем. Good morning, dear participants, dear colleagues and friends. I'm very honored to welcome you today at our roundtable that is organized in the framework of the 25th anniversary of MBA programs. Доброе утро, уважаемые гости, коллеги, партнеры, друзья. Я рада приветствовать вас сегодня на круглом столе, посвященном 25-летию программ MBA. As you know, AlmaU has been one of the first private institutions in Kazakhstan to offer MBA programs. As a pioneer of business education, AlmaU continues to thrive and bring together like-minded experts and professionals. The goal of today's roundtable is to have a live discussion of global challenges and future trends for the development of MBA programs. After the opening session that we're going to host in a minute, we will have two panels available for you to join online. Panel 1 is about business education facing challenges, and it is moderated by the AlmaU Graduate School of Business Associate Professor Azhar Giniyat. Panel 2 is focused more specifically on business schools and their future, as well as the MBA programs and their quality. It is moderated by our distinguished guest and partner, Professor Natalia Evtikheva, Director General of Russian Association of Business Education, who came all over from Moscow to Almaty today. We have two different Zoom links to connect to these panels, so please refer to event website. And for your convenience, my colleagues are copying these links in the Zoom chat and in YouTube comment section for our attendants who are joining online. I would like to mention that we have simultaneous translation options, so please go to Zoom, select the language in the settings for English, Russian, or Kazakh. For people who are joining online, please mute your microphones unless you're speaking, and our IT specialists will be helping you out with that. If you have questions to any of the participants, please use the Zoom chat to write down the questions or any comments that you have, or use the comment section on YouTube and put their questions there. We will gather them together and ask these questions at the end of all presentations. I would like also to remind our dear speakers that we have 3 minutes to present. So let's start the opening session and the welcome words. So I would like to give the floor to Dr. Gulnara Kurenkeyeva, who is Director of Almaty Management University. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Құрметті достар, құрметті әріптестер, құрметті қонақтар, Алматы менеджмент университетіне қош келдіңіздер. Бүгінгі 25 жылдық мерейтойымызға, MBA бағдарламасының мерейтойына келгендеріңіз үшін үлкен рахмет айтамыз. Dear guests, colleagues and friends, good day. It's a great It's a great honor to have you, all of you, in our at the celebration of 25th anniversary of AlmaU MBA programs. AlmaU MBA programs has become flagship for our university. Today, AlmaU Graduate School of Business is an internationally recognized leader of business education in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. In FA 1996, AlmaU has launched the first commercial MBA program in Kazakhstan, which makes it in the Kazakhstani pioneer in business education. Today, the number of AlmaU graduates exceeds 5,500 people who occupy two managerial positions in business and public sectors, who are owner of small, medium, and large business. More than 700 MBA students are enrolled on the MBA programs. This is the largest MBA student cohort in Kazakhstan. I think it's the largest, one of the largest MBA cohort in CIS country. We are proud that AlmaU program is unique and has a significant impact to the country economy by encouraging its participants for changes, growth, and further development. AlmaU has a strong international connection based on the long-term partnership with business schools from Japan, South Korea, France, Netherlands, Russia. We would like to express our gratitude to state bodies representatives, CEOs of partner organizations, deans of partner business school and universities for taking part in the roundtable today. We would like to share with our success today. GSB is only higher educational institution in Central Asia whose programs are accredited by AMBA, which included in the top 250 best business school in the world. As well, we are on the top 35 in Asia according to the QS World University rankings global MBA in this year. As well, the EMBA AlmaU program is ranked 22nd in the QS Executive MBA joint programs. Graduate School of Business in this year received the Outstanding Award for the significant impact for the region by Baltic Management Development Association. Once again, I want to thank all of the guests for participation in our event and share our joy for the 25th anniversary of MBA. Please accept the best wishes of good luck and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kurenkeyeva. The next speaker we have today is our respected alumni of MBA Art Management and DBA programs, Ms. Aktoty Rayimkulova, Minister of Culture and Sports of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Уважаемые гости, следующий спикер Райимкулова Актоты Рахматуллаевна, министр культуры и спорта Республики Казахстан, а также наша выпускница программы MBA Art Management и программы DBA. Актоты Рахматуллаевна, слово вам.
Қайырлы күн, құрметті қонақтар, құрметті дөңгелек үстелге қатысушылар. Қазақстан Республикасы үлкен мерейтойына арналған бүгінгі жиынға қатысушылардың бәрін шын жүректен құттықтап, бүгінгі күнде қош келдіңіздер деп айтуға рұқсат етіңіздер. Дорогие друзья, доброе утро. Я очень рада приветствовать вас от имени Министерства культуры и спорта Республики Казахстан, а также от себя лично приветствовать вас на круглом столе, посвященном 25-летнему юбилею программ MBA Almaty Management университета. Поздравляю AlmaU и Высшую школу бизнеса в лице Асылбека Базарбаевича и Гульнар Трудалиевны и всего коллектива со знаменательной датой, которая демонстрирует успехи в реализации программ бизнес-образования не только в Казахстане, но и во всей Центральной Азии. Сегодня Высшая школа бизнеса AlmaU – это сильные программы, признанные на глобальном уровне. Это гордость образования Казахстана, и не только Казахстана, но и всей Центральной Азии. Мы также с гордостью отмечаем достижения AlmaU, это программа Executive MBA, Высшей школы бизнеса Almaty Management университета и Высшей школы менеджмента Санкт-Петербургского университета. Я хотела бы особо отметить, что эта программа отметила 23-ю позицию среди совместных программ престижного международного рейтинга Executive MBA Rankings 2021. Как выпускница уникальной программы MBA Art Management и программы DBA, я считаю однозначно, что я получила качественное образование. Все мои коллеги, кто учился, и мои однокашники, однокурсники, с огромным удовольствием вспоминаем то время, которое мы провели в стенах именно AlmaU университета. И, конечно, система подготовки высококвалифицированных кадров, инновационные методы преподавания, прикладные исследования, они имеют важное стратегическое значение в формировании нового поколения управленцев для государственного сектора и для бизнеса в целом нашей страны. В течение 25 лет программы Высшей школы бизнеса демонстрируют действительно высокое качество. Выпускники этих программ на сегодня приносят свою действительно пользу и подтверждают высокий уровень образования во всех уровнях государственного управления и, конечно, бизнеса нашей страны, и не только нашей страны. Мне хотелось бы пожелать еще раз AlmaU, Высшей школе бизнеса, дальнейших успехов и продолжать занимать лидирующие позиции в международных рейтингах. И я думаю, что та оценка тысяч и тысяч выдающихся выпускников, уважаемых партнеров в Казахстане, это заслуженная оценка всей работы на протяжении всех этих лет всего коллектива, возглавляемого уважаемым Асылбеком Базарбаевичем и Гульнар Турдалиевной. Еще раз хотела бы отметить, что в условиях пандемии в приоритетах для развития экономики нашей страны является развитие лидерских и управленческих компетенций, поэтому в бизнес-образовании становится на сегодняшний день одним из важных и актуальных вопросов для обеспечения устойчивого развития как экономики в целом, так и отдельных предприятий. Еще раз хотела бы от всей души поздравить весь коллектив, уважаемых руководителей, уважаемых партнеров и сегодняшних участников круглого стола со знаменательной датой, сегодняшним замечательным мероприятием, круглым столом, который в свою очередь, как обычно, как ожидается, станет очень интересной площадкой для обсуждения новых и креативных, и продвинутых в каждой в своей области программ, предложений, инновационных методов в образовании. Спасибо большое всему коллективу. Я очень благодарна, с особой теплотой вспоминаю те годы. Гульнар Турдалиевна, вы помните, вы как раз были куратором нашей докторской программы. И все, кто закончил эту программу, сейчас занимают практически лидерские позиции как в госсекторе и, конечно, в бизнес-структурах. Спасибо огромное. Дальнейших успехов вам, удачи, здоровья и новых интересных предложений. Как всегда, мы ожидаем это от Международного университета и Высшей школы бизнеса AlmaU. Спасибо большое.
Спасибо.
Большое спасибо за ваши поздравления. Our next speaker is our keynote speaker, Mr. Douglas Becker, founder and chairman of Sintana Education, the global network of universities in USA. He's presenting a speech on global higher education in graduate and business education context. Mr. Becker, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm really just delighted to be a part of this important gathering. And greetings from the United States. It's late in the evening here, but early in the day for you in Almaty. And I'm really, really pleased to see so many faces and so many prestigious participants in this event today. I've been given the opportunity to say a few words about our views about the future of higher education. Of course, this is an enormous task and effort to try to anticipate the future of something that changes the world and affects all of us. And of course, many of you participating in this conference would also have outstanding ideas and insights, which I'm sure will come out over the course of this conference. And while the conference is specifically focused on this celebration of the 25th anniversary of the MBA program and the future of business education, really the future of business education is inextricably linked to the future of education itself. So first, I just want to bring greetings on behalf of Sintana Education and our partners at Arizona State University to Almaty Management University, AlmaU. I want to send my personal warmest greetings to President Asylbek and Rector Gulnar and the very talented team of people that we work with every day at Alma University. So the occasion of this important anniversary is also an opportunity for us to mention that this may be the 25th year for the MBA program, but it's also the first year for AlmaU as a partner in the Sintana network of universities. This is a global network that today includes universities in the United States, in India, Turkey, Ukraine, Mexico, Ecuador, Costa Rica, and Vietnam, with plans to grow to a network that will eventually reach 1 million students or more around the world. And we are very selective in the participants in this program, and also extremely, extremely proud that AlmaU is a part of this alliance. We recognize AlmaU's excellence through its own recognition as one of the top business schools in Central Asia, its distinction as AMBA accredited institution, and of course, its extraordinary ranking as one of the top EMBA programs in the QS ranking. We're also very proud to be a partner in the ambitious plans for AlmaU to build on its strength in management education into a broader, great, ambitious, and comprehensive university. I had mentioned earlier our partnership with Arizona State University, and I do bring greetings on their behalf. Many of you may know of Arizona State. This is the largest public university under a single administration in the United States, now with nearly 150,000 students. It is recognized as an extraordinarily innovative institution, ranked #1 for more than 6 years in the US in the area of innovation. And of course, as we all see how much change is happening in higher education, we recognize the importance and the need for innovation. Arizona State is also a leader in online education. Of course, this will be important to Kazakhstan, to Central Asia, really, and to the world. And of course, that is one of the key trends that I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes when we talk about trends in higher education. Many of the trends I'm going to speak about now were already notable even before the impact of the pandemic, which of course has changed so much in the world. A pandemic that has brought suffering to many people around the world, but also actually creates opportunities for us to leapfrog things that had been done in ways in the past that now can be surpassed through innovation and technology for a better future for students, for communities, for countries, and really for the world. The opportunities that I see in higher education around the world really start with something that's so close to our mission at Sintana and to Arizona State University, and that is the concept of inclusion. That higher education, of course, for many years was something that was really only available to a select few. But we now see that around the world, so many of the most important jobs developing and the jobs of the future absolutely require more skills and the skills that can be provided through education. Now, education inclusion, of course, starts with the traditional undergraduate base of students. These would be typical high school leavers of a young age. But we also know that one of the great trends, certainly in the developed world, but moving all over the world, has been increasing inclusion and participation of the working adult. And these would be the part-time students who are experiencing education, even while they are also balancing the work and life important aspects to the totality of their experience in their family and their community. Now, technology has caused this opportunity for inclusion to explode into a really unprecedented opportunity for people to participate. And the barriers to online education have been, for the most part, swept away by the pragmatic needs of a pandemic environment around the world. This, for me, having spent now more than 20 years as an advocate in the field of education technology, has been a remarkable thing to see. For many years in many countries, people have been tracking the benefits of technology and online education, but recognizing, of course, that there are limitations to this as well, that many fields of study will be better delivered if they not only have access to technology through online education, but also have access to the human contact and the deep personal engagement that comes in the classroom and in the workplace as well. So certainly the future of education is going to increasingly involve access through technology, through online education, efforts to make online education more accessible and relevant for the fields in which it's been less useful. We're seeing extraordinary advances in the fields of virtual and augmented reality. In fact, I encourage any of you, if you have a chance to just look up Arizona State University and virtual reality, there are some remarkable technologies being piloted certainly initially in the fields of science education, but this will gradually expand and blur the lines between what it means to be learning online and what it means to be face-to-face with other students. And of course, in the virtual world, we can all be face-to-face. We are, in a way, face-to-face today through this event, but increasingly the technology makes that easier and more impactful for students. The immersion in the topic is something that will allow for students to be engaged and to ensure that students are learning and benefiting from the experience being provided to them. Now, I think that these trends that I describe around access and technology as an underpinning to make education available to many is especially relevant to management education. And of course, this is related to our topic today and the celebration of this important anniversary for the MBA program at AlmaU. Management education is vast. It's certainly one of the biggest fields of study and most relevant to students all over the world. It's popular, but it is fiercely competitive. And when I look at the agenda for the rest of this conference and I see discussions around the future of the MBA and the future of management education, I think we all want to recognize that there are aspects of business and management education that are really commoditized in a world where many people are competing to provide similar programs, and in a world where technology makes it possible for a student in any country to receive programs from universities in other cities in their country, and of course from other countries all over the world. Now, for those of you and us involved in the teaching of management, we need to realize, of course, that what we teach about how other businesses should respond to competition and to meeting the needs of their clients is certainly equally relevant to management education as a field itself. So the things that I'm seeing that are already changing, and I'm sure many of you are experiencing this as well. Of course, the pandemic has interrupted a lot of the globalization flows, the flows of students from one place to another, typically from developing nations to developed nations. I think that's a good thing. I think that what we're going to see is that these flows will increasingly move from physical flows to virtual flows, although, of course, the cultural experience and the benefit to students of an actual physical experience in the international market is going to add to their value in the workplace and their really their status as a global citizen. But the fact that those flows can occur more on a virtual basis and not just a physical basis is going to bring the cost, both in economic and just in human terms, down. What we're also seeing is that the opportunities for students to receive extraordinary experiences will increasingly be staged and available in regional participation and not just moving to a faraway place. I am here today in the United States, where, of course, we are blessed to have some remarkable universities. But these universities and our partner at Arizona State are increasingly establishing connections and hubs and instructional sites in other places around the world. And that means that students will travel shorter distances to get the benefits of an international education. We also see that there are increasing capabilities at the point of delivery within the region of developing nations. And Kazakhstan is a great example of this, to have a great university like Almaty Management University in Kazakhstan. It certainly benefits the entire Central Asia region. It benefits the nation of Kazakhstan, but it also means that there will be some students that can get what they need without having to go to the expense of an extraordinary, long and expensive international experience. So we see international experiences becoming more accessible, closer in location, more digital in the way they can be delivered. And when you do take the time and expense to travel far away, we think that those education experiences will be of shorter duration to allow more students to afford it and to make it accessible to more people. So the flexibility in cost is also very important. Education, the biggest barrier to education ultimately is cost. And so one of the other trends that we're seeing, and of course, business education is seeing this all the time, is the importance of shorter and extremely relevant programs that can be ultimately connected to a longer degree program, but also will have value and relevance from just the benefit of the content of these shorter programs. This expression of stackable credentials is something that you begin to hear all over the world. I've been studying this for years, and I will say, I still think that there are not very many places that are doing this as well as it needs to be done, but we're seeing it blossoming all over the world as a very, very tangible example of innovation, bringing barriers and costs down and opportunity up. The linkage with industry is something that universities across any field of study need to embrace. And we see an uneven status of this depending on the country involved. There are countries in which industry is seen as just the recipient of graduating workforce. And there are other countries where industry is deeply involved in ensuring the quality of education in their country, the relevance of education in their country. And of course, these linkages include all sorts of opportunities relating to internships, apprenticeships, or even just the participation of industry in the content and curriculum that universities are providing. So we see this, for example, with Arizona State University, which is now one of the top providers of workforce to the Silicon Valley companies that are massive employers in the US and around the world, based on the relevancy of what they're taught, what these students are taught, and what they're capable of accomplishing in order to contribute to the company that hires them or that gives them that experience during their education opportunities. I see that management education will increasingly integrate with other career relevant subjects. And I'm sure many of you are seeing this as well. I think the days in which management education is taught as a more isolated topic is going to really be swept away by the need to integrate with topic. So the programs in management for the health sciences industry, or the integration of technology into management training, the line is blurring. What is a course or a program or a degree in the topic of AI? Is it about the commercialization of AI, or is it about the implementation of AI? If it's commercialization, it's essentially management education. If it is implementation, it may be engineering. And as we see these lines blurring, you will see the cross-discipline oriented universities really beginning to gain share, and both the relevance and awareness, but of course the market share, because students will see this to be the place and the way to go get the skills that they need to get the jobs that they want in the future. Again, I'm sure many of these are trends that many of you are seeing, but certainly I know that our colleagues at AlmaU are seeing them, because we're seeing this in the development efforts to essentially integrate new ideas into the curriculum that will be used in the future. I think that the benefit of all of the topics I've just mentioned, the application of technology and the resulting reduced costs, so increased capacity, increased participation, increased access, is something that will create opportunities for a more equal society all over the world. We live in a world in which society and opportunities for individual are unequal within countries and between countries. And I say that from a country in which we have great unevenness, even here in the United States, in terms of opportunities for students and for society as a whole. And education is the tool to ensure that this can be improved and enhanced to the betterment of the world. In conclusion, I just want to say how proud we are to be a part of this conference today, to be partnered with Alma University in this Intana Alliance. And we are really very, very proud to support Alma University as it soars to new heights in its nation, in the entire Central Asia region, and in the world. So thank you for inviting me to be involved today. I wish you just an extraordinary, interactive and fun experience on your conference today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Becker. Thank you for your very interesting insights and ideas. Indeed, accessibility, internationalization, digitalization, interdisciplinarity are the relevant trends in the education today. Well, I would like to also say that we are very honored to be a part of Sintana family and to partner with and to be powered by the Arizona State University. We truly believe in this partnership, and we thank you again for your support today. I would also like to mention that at the moment we have more than 90 participants from around 10 countries, which is a great success, I believe. And I would like to thank all of you for your support and for your interest in today's event. So moving on our program, I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Dr. Kakha Shengelia, who is the president of our respected partner school in Georgia. It is the Caucasian University. He's also a president of the International Association of University Presidents. So Dr. Kakha, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor and pleasure to be here today in beautiful Almaty, and welcome to my friends and colleagues around the globe. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Dr. Asilbek. This is my pleasure and honor to be here with you today and celebrate this excellent achievement of AlmaU, which is one of the best schools, not only in Kazakhstan, I can say in the whole Central Asia and around this region. Why I'm here today? This is a good question. Because I'm here today because I would like to celebrate with my friend and colleague this great achievement, which is actually a best school and best program in this region. And this is our achievement together to be in this and celebrate together this great success which Kazakh University and Kazakh Business School did it. And I remember how he started actually many years ago. And when I was first time here, it was academy, I think it was a business academy at that time. But now we have a full-fledged university as well as full-fledged great business school in Almaty. And this is a very good example how Kazakh universities, how in Kazakh business schools can go. And this is a great example how we can create a great business school in this country. So thank you very much to be here today. And I would like to thank all of you, big team of AlmaU, and all of your friends and colleagues around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kakha. Our next speaker is Sergey Myasoedov, the president of Russian Association of Business Education. He came all over from Moscow to support us today. Dr. Sergey, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, it's my real pleasure and honor to make a small presentation here and to share some of my ideas about new challenges and trends in the development of business education with a special focus on MBA programs. I'm very thankful to the organizers of this conference, and first of all, to Professor Asilbek Bazarbayevich Kazhakhmetov, who initiated that with his huge energy and huge ability to put the people together for friendly discussions, the people from different parts of our small world. It's a very difficult time from my point of view for business education. It's a very challengeable time, and it's fantastically interesting time because everything is under the change. I do not remember who mentioned this sentence for the first time, but I heard it at different conferences many times. The people say that the only sustainable thing in our world is the change. We are living in a new environment, and it seems to me that one of our challenges is to understand how to stay effective and efficient, how to meet the requirements of our clients from business in this VUCA environment that is under the permanent change. The second key word from my point of view is the word balance. For the first time, I heard the stress on the word balance at AFMD conference, and after that, we discussed that at Siemens conference. Balance is principally important because, again, everything is under the change. We have to look for new normality of business education, for the new balance in between soft and hard disciplines, for the new balance in between traditional programs and the new subjects which are coming to our programs together with interactive technologies, the new balance in the way of artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence, in between the people and machines, in between the big data analysis and transformation of marketing, and the other paradigm, which I heard a lot when I was studying at Wharton, the development of our feeling of perspective, of our intuition. Lots of challenges, lots of questions without answers. The third word, which I'd like to stress, is sustainability. The present day world is very fragile, and COVID infection proved us that though we are working with disruptive technologies, the world is very vulnerable, and we have to learn to communicate and to cooperate deeper and to look for common answers for the questions which we can face every day today. Next thing, within the balance, we have to look for the proper balance that is good for our clients, for the proper balance in between the forms and formats of education. My prediction is that in some years, we shall face a new phenomenon. Practically all the MBA programs would be first part-time. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm saying how I can see it from the perspective of Russia as the dean of business school, where we have for today's day 950 MBA and executive MBA students. And I'm very, very proud that 3 of my executive MBA programs, Russian language program, the program in cooperation with Antwerp School of Management, and the program in cooperation with Grenoble School of Management. They're among the top 100 executive MBA programs by the Financial Times, number 44, 45, and 67. And we have a feeling that the people are not ready to stay with the programs as long as previously. So my next prediction about the MBA program, that the program by the time would shrink, but would become much more intensive, that the quantity of plus minus normal, even partially interactive lectures would shrink too. The quantity of discussions and what we call creation of the new knowledge and skill inside the classroom, that would be the key issue. I can assume that the quantity of participation and the quality of participation of real business in our MBA programs would grow dramatically. And unfortunately, the university professors, and I belong to this group of people, our role would be going down because we are losing an opportunity to follow the progress. It's too quick when it comes to our lectures, our textbooks, etc. The life already creates new challenges. I consider that our programs would be blended. And once again, it seems to me that this blended format would bring us plus minus to the model which once I saw at a very nice university or business school, I don't know how to call them, Bentley University next to Washington, D.C., United States of America, where the people within this university and business school simultaneously study at business department and liberal art department. The notion is that present-day business shouldn't be oriented on profit only, on shareholders' value. They can see all the problems of the planet. And so from this point of view, the minors, even at MBA programs, should be connected with liberal art. Second thing, that's the format and form. And the people from Bentley told me a fantastic story. They told me that when they proposed to the market an opportunity to present inside the class or to follow the classes by multiflex opportunities through many cameras, etc., but online and on distance, after several months, they got a very interesting phenomenon. Plus minus half of the people were always inside the class, and plus minus half of the people were online. The people themselves were changing their places and roles, but the quantity of people there and there was plus minus equal. Last year at IBS Moscow, over NIPA, my business school, we decided to try to do the same, and we introduced to the Russian market blended program with the opportunity of complete option to come today for our classes or to be present online. Next day, again, option of the executive students to do the same, and this option through the whole program. By now, the same result, plus minus 50-50. And up to now, we're learning how to make this program more efficient, but it seems to me that our clients like this new format very, very much. I'm speaking for pretty long time, so maybe I shall mention a couple of more positions that make a full stop. Next position, from functional management education, that is typical for many MBA programs. We should come to the analysis of programs, projects, and products. 360-degree analysis, when inside the class, we're not following one track, but we look at the phenomena from all the sides, like it happens in real business when businessmen have to settle their programs. And next principle word is social responsibility, principles of Prime and United Nations sustainability, and social entrepreneurship. We have to think more and more about the stakeholders, about the interests of societies, once again, in this fragile world. And so all of us, we have to learn how to make those classes the most interesting, the most exciting, to make those classes attractive and convincing. We have to work together with our clients towards this sustainable world. I do not know about you, colleagues. From my point of view, it's a very interesting but very tough mission. And we have to share our experience, to organize exchange of findings, to make that really high quality and customer oriented. I consider that here I shall make a full stop because I'm speaking for pretty long time. Thank you very much for your presence and interest to this great conference. Once again, thank you very much to AlmaU and Asylbek Bazarbayevich Kazhakhmetov. Thank you to all of you for our enrichment through sharing and our exchange of opinions. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Myasoedov, for your very interesting insight. The next up, we have a congratulatory video from the Ministry of Healthcare of the Republic of Kazakhstan. They were unable to come in person today, but they sent the video greetings. So I would ask my colleagues in the room to start the video, please.
Уважаемые преподаватели, слушатели и выпускники программы MBA Алматы менеджмент университета, искренне приветствую и поздравляю от имени Министерства здравоохранения и от своего имени весь коллектив в связи с 25-летием программы MBA. Ваш университет многие годы заслуженно занимает лидирующее место в числе авторитетных вузов страны. Высшая школа бизнеса AlmaU на рынке делового обучения уже 25 лет и действительно предлагает качественное и полезное образование, в чем я, как и многие мои коллеги, сами убедились, получив степень магистра бизнес-администрирования. В менеджменте здравоохранения мы активно пользуемся полученными знаниями, навыками при принятии управленческих решений на государственной службе. На программах MBA AlmaU слушатели получают глубокие теоретические и практические знания, разносторонние практические навыки, крепкие социальные связи. Программа MBA «Менеджмент здравоохранения» играет важную роль в подготовке управленческих кадров для системы здравоохранения страны. Гульнара Турдалиевна, госпожа ректор, мой уважаемый руководитель научной работы, примите сердечные поздравления со знаменательной юбилейной датой вашего университета. Хочу пожелать коллективу университета процветания, больших творческих достижений, смелых проектов и, конечно же, всем отличного здоровья.
Thank you very much. We had this congratulatory video from Azhar Giniyat, the Vice Minister of Healthcare of the Republic of Kazakhstan. And I would also like to mention that she is our MBA alumna. Dear participants, it is time now to move to the panel sessions, and I would like to ask those who are interested to join panel 2 to switch to another Zoom link, please. And whoever wants to stay for panel 1, you don't need to change anything. We will just finish up the opening session and then move on to panel 1. All right, we would need maybe a minute for the technical support to help us out with that. So please, if you want to listen to panel 2, which is called Current Trends and Future Perspectives of MBA Programs, moderated by Natalia Evtikheva from Russia, please change your Zoom link. Thank you. Okay, now that we're waiting for everyone to switch to the second panel, I would continue. My colleagues tell me that I can continue. So I would like to give the floor to Ainur Karbozova, the president of Center of International Programs, Bolashaq. She's joining us online. Ainur, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Қайырлы таң. Менің даусым жақсы естіліп тұр ма?
Yeah, Rahmet.
Қайырлы таң, a very good morning. First of all, I would like to extend our gratitude for inviting us to this important milestone event, the 25th anniversary of MBA programs within the AlmaU. And a very heartfelt greetings from the Center for International Programs, sole administrator of the Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship Program. I would like just to briefly contribute that there is no doubt that AlmaU is one of the leading Kazakhstan higher education institutions to be actively taking part in and grasping opportunities within the Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship, and that makes us a very long-standing natural partners, Center for International Programs and AlmaU University. I would like to bring just one quick example of back in 2013, just when in one go, more than 20, almost 30 professorial and academic staff of the AlmaU University have had Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship and studied had internship opportunity in entrepreneurial studies at the leading universities of the United States, United Kingdom, Europe, and South Korea. And most importantly, it wasn't internship for the sake of internship. It brought quality changes back in Kazakhstan with that almost 30 teachers of AlmaU University, which became, in a way, pioneering, changing to other Kazakhstan universities, that it's not about investing in an individual teacher or professor, but rather creating a group and first of all finding out your targeted needs, and then to send your teachers and professorial staff within Bolashaq internship programs to unique programs which can be customized with the needs of Kazakhstan. And those teachers, as AlmaU did back in Kazakhstan, they created a new, the whole new program, and that benchmark actually followed by many of other Kazakhstan universities. And thank you very much for that instrumental contribution and being in a way benchmark for all of other Kazakhstan universities to see how internship can be both scientific but also practical in terms of not just theoretical kind of a knowledge, but rather practical. So the interaction within Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship is enhancing and advancing, and just taking this very opportunity, I would like to once again express my gratitude to the AlmaU University top management and those active professorial and teaching staff to highlight these opportunities and to make Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship instrumental in exchange of knowledge and experience. Even in 2020 and 2021, having requirements much harshened, we can see that AlmaU is continuing to invest in its teachers and professorial staff in terms of sending to Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship selection process. So with a new internship program areas as 500 scientists project, I remain very much hopeful that AlmaU will keep to this pace and will remain a leader in terms of investing in its teachers and professorial staff. Once again, our heartfelt congratulations, and it's an honor to have you as a long-standing and trusted partner of the Center for International Programs. We are here for you. Please explore us. Yesterday, we actually had the last day for 2021 admissions. And just to engage you with how much applicants we had in one last day only. So we had yesterday 859 applications registered just in one day, last day. And I was kind of furious, but also saying, oh, why our people do everything last moment? And I had the same day the meeting with our Canadian friends, and they said, don't worry, we do things last moment too. So I was kind of relieved that it's not only about us, but of course, just just to wrap up quickly, Bolashaq Presidential Scholarship, I think, remains to be a very unique opportunity to study abroad for the highly demanded specialties majors back in Kazakhstan market. And thank you for AlmaU to be our trusted partner. And once again, congratulations.
Dear Ainur, thank you so much for your presentation, and we also honor our partnership with Bolashaq. As you all know, AlmaU have been sending its faculty and staff, including top managers, since 2013 to various institutions worldwide, and we are honored to have Bolashaq as our highly esteemed strategic partner. Up next, we have our next speaker, Aituar Koshmambetov, Director of Chamber of Entrepreneurs Atameken of Almaty City. Aituar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Саламатсыздар ма, құрметті бүгінгі конференция қатысушылар. Добрый день, уважаемые участники круглого стола. Разрешите от имени руководства Национальной палаты Республики Казахстан Атамекен поприветствовать вас и поздравить коллектив Высшей школы бизнеса AlmaU с празднованием 25-летия программы MBA. Как вы знаете, Высшая школа бизнеса является сердцем университета AlmaU с момента его основания еще в 1988 году, когда были запущены первые тренинги для бизнеса в Алматинской школе менеджмента. AlmaU – это предпринимательский и социально ответственный университет. Бизнес-вуз номер 1 в Казахстане, осуществляющий подготовку специалистов по программам бакалавриата, магистратуры, докторантуры, MBA, ну и DBA. Также AlmaU является центром создания и трансфера инноваций в бизнес, подготовки инновационных менеджеров, моделью эффективного взаимодействия между бизнесом, государством и высшими учебными заведениями. AlmaU вносит большой вклад в развитие бизнес-образования в стране. Мне посчастливилось участвовать в открытии креативного пространства Хайнар-Булак, точка кипения Алматы, где каждый может организовать или поучаствовать в образовательных или деловых мероприятиях, учить и учиться в профессиональных сообществах, собрать команды для реализации бизнес-проектов, найти экспертов и инвесторов. Это довольно креативный, интересный проект, который мы надеемся будет развиваться. Ну, как пандемия немного нам помешала это делать сейчас уже большими шагами, но вот мы видим перспективы, и они очень большие. По словам лидера нации Нурсултана Абишевича Назарбаева, развитие предпринимательства является стратегическим приоритетом Казахстана. В будущем предпринимательство должно стать уже сейчас делаются огромные шаги. Уже малый и средний бизнес занимает 35% экономики. И вот как бы огромная помощь в этом бизнес-вузов, в первую очередь таких, как AlmaU, которые ориентированы специально на образование в сфере бизнеса. Понимая важность развития человеческого капитала как одного из составляющих данного развития, Атамекен с момента своего образования осуществляет комплекс мер по развитию предпринимательских инициатив на всех уровнях. Одно из основных направлений – это образование в сфере предпринимательства и бизнеса. В 2019 году нами реализован проект по обучению основам предпринимательства студентов колледжей и вузов. Общий охват по республике составил 100 тысяч студентов 3-4 курса защиты проектов 15 тысяч студентами. В 2020 году проект по обучению основам предпринимательства продолжился с охватом около 42,5 тысяч студентов, часть которых получит знания онлайн на площадке Атамекен Академии. Как вы знаете, для повышения предпринимательской активности молодежи приняты программы продуктивной занятости и массового предпринимательства ЕМБЕК и дорожная карта бизнеса 2020. Обучение является одной из мер содействия занятости, меры социальной защиты населения от безработицы и развития массового предпринимательства. По этой причине проект «Бастау бизнес» реализуется Атамекеном в рамках программы ЕМБЕК. Ну, я бы хотел отметить, что также в рамках города Алматы у нас есть своя программа «Алматы бизнес 2025». И в 2021 году стартовал проект «Кәсіп алаңы», где мы на данной площадке уже действующий бизнес стимулируем путем вот образовательных инструментов. И вот данное обучение проходит как раз-таки на площадке университета AlmaU. Это акселератор для бизнеса, и более 500 предпринимателей уже прошли акселерацию и повысили свои показатели. То есть, пользуясь случаем, хотел бы выразить огромную благодарность вот руководству AlmaU и пожелать всем большой удачи, успешных реализаций проектов, предпринимательских идей, взаимного дальнейшего сотрудничества и процветающего бизнеса во благо нашей страны. Спасибо.
Большое спасибо. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Marat Kuanysh, first deputy head of the Academy of the Committee of National Security of Republic of Kazakhstan. Mr. Kuanysh, the floor is yours. Слово вам.
Құрметті AlmaU басшылары мен оқу әдістемек профессорлық құрамы, сіздерді осы бүгінгі мейраммен құттықтай отырып, мың алғыс айтқым келіп тұр. Өйткені біздер партнер болып көп жыл бойы жұмыс істеп жатырмыз. Сондықтан біздің атымыздан сізге алғыс хат айтсам, сыйлағым келіп тұр. Уважаемый Аслыбек Базарбаевич, уважаемая Гульнара Турдалиевна, руководство, ученый совет и профессорско-преподавательский состав Академии, Комитет национальной безопасности поздравляет Almaty Management университет с 25-летним юбилеем программы MBA. Лидерство университета в мировых и региональных рейтингах, а также устойчивая конкурентоспособность программы MBA свидетельствует о перспективном направлении, которое выбрано в далеком 1988 году. Первые пробные тренинги развились в современную многоуровневую систему подготовки и послевузовские образовательные программы. Нынешняя программа MBA вашего университета обеспечивает успешный личностный профессиональный рост как начинающих управленцев, так и руководителей, достигших определенных успехов в развитии бизнеса, компаний и госорганов. Формированием атмосферы профессионализма через развитие управленческих компетенций, социальной ответственности бизнеса и гражданского долга Almaty Management университет вносит реальный вклад в стабильное развитие нашей государственности. В преддверии празднования 30-летия независимости Республики Казахстан желаем дальнейших творческих успехов, здоровья, благополучия профессорско-преподавательскому составу и руководству Almaty Management университета, руководству Академии Комитета национальной безопасности. Көп-көп рахмет. Да, сейчас.
Большое спасибо. Thank you so much. We have a congratulatory session now. Thank you. We have almost completed our opening session, and I suggest we move on to the panel 1, which is called the Global Challenges and Future of Business Education. It is moderated by Ozat Sergeyev, the Graduate School of Business Associate Professor. Ozat, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ainura. Dear ladies and gentlemen, good morning, dear guests and participant speakers. Let's get started our panel 1 session, which is Global Challenges and the Future of Business Education. We have several speakers today. Some of them have already done their speech. That's why we have approximately 4 or 5 speakers left. And we have 90 minutes for the panel. It means that in average, we have 10, let's say 12 minutes for speech, including short questions and Q&A sessions after each speech. So let me give a floor the first speaker, who is Jeff Perry. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Please, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. So leaders of Almaty Management University, of the AlmaU Graduate School of Business, moderator, Associate Professor Vice-Rector, my esteemed fellow panelists and attendees here today. It is my honor and privilege to be on this panel at this 25th anniversary of the MBA program celebration. So congratulations on the MBA achieving 25 years, and through that making a significant difference to your graduates, to business and to society in Kazakhstan. And all the best for the next 25 years. Just a little bit of background. I'm the Executive Vice President and Chief Officer Asia Pacific for AACSB. We've been in operation since 1916, providing services for facilitating business schools and accrediting business schools since then. We have about 1,700 members, 400 in Asia Pacific, and AlmaU is one of our members. And we have 160 accredited schools in Asia Pacific. And so through this, our business schools are linked into our regional and global education business alliance network, which provides huge value as they seek solutions to what we're going to be discussing today. So the topic for today's panel discussion, global challenges and the future of business education, really is an important one. I was given instructions that I sort of had 5 to 7 minutes, so I was thinking there's so many things I could talk about, so let's just concentrate on a few. So I just want to talk briefly about 3 different aspects relating to global challenges and the future of business education. So the first I want to focus on is the importance of higher education and business schools. So echoing what Professor Becker said in his opening speech, business schools are they're within higher education, so you can't separate them, they work together. But higher education and business schools addressing the wicked global challenges that society faces. Now, the United Nations Development Goals provide a clear focus on these, and business schools are ideally placed to make a significant contribution to understanding and solving these challenges. In fact, in the AACSB 2020 standards for business schools, we have embedded societal impact throughout. The idea that business schools should be having a positive societal impact is something we've got threaded through the standards. And we also have one dedicated standard to this area. And why do we put it in there? It's because we recognize the challenges, and business schools around the world are recognizing these global challenges and are doing things which are making a difference. And so this provides a framework for business schools to address those issues, but also enables those who are already doing great things to be recognized for that. So that's the first one, and the need for business schools to be focusing on how they can have a societal impact to make a difference to some of those wicked global problems that I talked about. Now, the second aspect that I want to address is that business schools operating in silos will not be effective. Addressing global problems requires a range of paradigms, a range of approaches coming together to solve these issues. Therefore, a cross-disciplinary approach and a wide range of stakeholders is necessary. Now, business school academics and students, they have a major contribution to make. They bring powerful concepts, powerful frameworks, powerful methods and methodologies to the table, but they cannot be successful alone. Thus, interdisciplinary work in curriculum, in research, in outreach, in the way that we can facilitate bringing together groups of people to address these issues will be a growing feature of business education. And that's one of the significant changes, again, it was mentioned by Professor Becker in his introductory address. The third aspect I want to talk about are the challenges and the implications of changing technology for business and for society. Changing technology provides both an opportunity and a challenge. The opportunity is it gives us the ability to meet the learning needs of our learners, of our students more effectively. Because as we know, students learn in different ways. You know, some are much better from the written word, some from the spoken word, some from visuals. And through the use of technology, we can make available to students many ways that they can learn, which is very powerful. And secondly, it provides a method for us to connect with a wider range of students who can't necessarily get to our campus. And what is one of the wonderful developments during COVID is the ability through changing technology to connect leaders from business, leaders in the policy space, not just domestically, but internationally with our students, because they don't need to fly there anymore. They don't need to come and be face-to-face. So what business deans around Asia Pacific have been telling me is the wonderful opportunity with technology is this ability to draw in people to come and talk with their students without them having to leave wherever they live around the world. But technology also creates challenges for business schools. As I said, it's changing society, but it's also changing business schools. So we need to ensure that business schools remain current and relevant, so they're up to date with what is happening with technology. They're up to date with what are those changes that are happening to consumption, production and distribution as a result of technological changes. How can we make sure that supply chains continue to operate effectively, which is a very current issue at the moment, and that curriculum is up to date, and that faculty can use the new technology as they engage with students and as they help students conceptualize and imagine the future that they're moving into. And also, of course, technology creates challenges for business schools through its costs for infrastructure, software, and training, as I mentioned. So I just wanted to cover those three areas: the importance of business schools addressing global challenges, the importance of not being siloed, of being part of broader communities and ways of thinking, and of embracing technological change so that we can work more effectively with students and therefore prepare them better for the futures that they're going into. So in conclusion, there are some major global issues before us. In many ways, COVID, as well as creating some new ones, has simply magnified and emphasized many of those challenges that already existed. But business schools are resilient. They are agile and need to be agile, and they are well placed to be successful in helping us, helping society address these global challenges. So thank you very much for this opportunity to say a few words, and I look forward to the Q&A for the panel later on, as there are many other areas of importance as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Jeff. Let's ask questions. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions, please ask. But if you are thinking, let me ask you one question. As far as you are Executive Vice President and Chief Officer at ACSB, I suspect AP, it means Asia Pacific. Am I right?
Yeah, AP is Asia Pacific. AACSB is the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. Yeah.
Okay.
So AP is Asia Pacific. Yep, correct.
So ACSB, it's about rankings. So we know that, sorry, you want to say something? We know that many leading business schools are excellent in teaching and research, and they have well-earned high rankings. But on other hand, some educational institutions, mostly maybe in developing countries, have learned to get relatively higher rankings with no real achievements, just manipulating some indexes, figures, etc. So all the resources are directed to this improper practice. So my question is, are the international ranking systems able to recognize such kind of behavior and differentiate the real situation in these institutions?
Okay, thank you for that question. In fact, AACSB is not a ranking organization. So, you know, organizations like the QS, the Times Higher Education, international ranking bodies. AACSB does not rank. It accredits business schools based on business schools meeting standards which are internationally benchmarked, but are based on a quality business school undertaking continuous improvement, but which is mission driven. So in terms of AACSB, we're not ranking schools, but we are supporting them and accrediting them to be quality business schools within their context. So in terms of that, I think that we respond very well to what you were identifying. Now, there are connections between accreditation and rankings. For instance, if you want business schools and disciplines within business schools can be, QS does a ranking on that. To be considered for that, you need to be accredited by one of the major business school accrediting bodies in the world. So you can see accreditation and rankings are maybe complements. The difference is that accreditation is based on, it's not based on ranking schools, and it recognizes, AACSB accreditation recognizes that quality can come in many different forms. And as a global organization, that's really, really important. And so we recognize you could have schools which have a teaching emphasis, schools which have a knowledge advancement emphasis, schools which have an applied research emphasis, schools which have a local, regional, national, or global focus. And through our accreditation standards, there's opportunities for schools, no matter what their context, to show that they are high quality and meeting internationally benchmarked standards for quality, not for ranking. So it's and that's, I think, one of the so there's sort of two systems, and we're in the accreditation system, not in the ranking system.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We have one question from Professor Myasoedov. Sergey, please ask your question.
Very thankful to SASB International for this fantastic experience and fantastic mentoring of our climbing up. My question is very simple. As a president, the president of the RABE, Russian Association of Business Education, I know that we have very strong business schools at the Asian part of Russia, in particular at Far East Federal University, at Novosibirsk University, and at some other place. How can I facilitate their close acquaintance with you to discuss possible cooperation? I won't tell you that immediately they are ready to jump to accreditation, but they are strong, and with proper guidance and friendly piece of advice, I consider that within some years, they can come to this track. And as the president of RABE, I would be very happy about that. Yes. As well as I think that the people here and this gentleman, he has to do the same. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. Yes, and hello, Sergey. I think I last saw you in Nashville just before COVID actually closed in. If I'm not, well, I think we had lunch there after a session with a group. I think that's correct. Anyway, it's great to see you. I think that's a wonderful question. The point you're making is that there are many business schools who are interested in connecting and going through the process because there's a lot of support. even before you think about accreditation within AACSB, there are networks, there are support and opportunities for schools. I think the important way forward is through connecting with either my equivalent, who you know very well, my equivalent in EMEA, Tim Mescon, or myself, and we would be very keen to meet with groups of business schools or individual business schools and to talk with them about what their goals are, what they're looking to achieve, and how we can support them in what they are doing. If the AACSB website, and the point you make is interesting. There's this crossover between the European, Middle East, and Africa, EMEA part of AACSB, and then the Asia Pacific part. And I know last year that there was a seminar that was run in Russian language, and some of our Asia Pacific schools attended, even though it was run by EMEA. So I think the key thing is if we can get the connections and the chance to engage with those schools, that would be wonderful. And when we get back to face, we can follow up on the discussion that we had at that lunch, and that was about your Russian Association of Business Schools coming down to one of the Asia Pacific meetings that we have. And hopefully next year we can do that again. So yeah, wonderful to see you again.
Thank you, Sergey, for your questions. Thank you, Jeff, for your speech. We have one question from the chat. If we can switch on this participant to ask question, please. I ask my assistants to help.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much for.
Good evening, actually, good morning or good afternoon, Jeff. I don't know. If you are Singapore, it should be good afternoon right now for you. And this is Kakha Shengelia from Georgia. And actually, we are going through AACSB now. Actually, we are almost done, and we're going to have one more year to go. And I wanted to see here Tim, but Tim is in different panel, unfortunately. But anyway, we love to see you one day in my country, and because we're going to be a first, we hope, not only in Caucasus, but in the whole this bigger region, except Russia. So, and we love to promote AACSB in our part of the world because it's something we really need it. So it's just my comment, not a question. So if you can happen to come to this part of the world, you are going to be very welcome to us.
Yes, thank you very much. And yes, it'll be wonderful to see the progress that your school is making in the AACSB journey. And yes, Tim Mescon was here, but I think he's gone to panel 2, so you weren't able to catch him. But thank you for that comment, and I look forward to the opportunity to visit Georgia in the not too distant future.
Hello,
Okay.
Mr. Perry. I have a question here. So I'm Sin-Ming Chu from CUHK Business School in Hong Kong. I'm the Associate Dean for External Engagement here. So you mentioned that business schools should stay relevant to the market and economy. Can you share some specific ideas or examples on how business schools can improve or transform their curriculum and teaching methods, pedagogy, in order to stay relevant? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we could run a whole session and a workshop on this, but I think it is really important, and it's a part of the change in curriculum and business education is it picks up on a number of areas. The soft skills and hard skills. That's been around for a little while. But also it's preparing our graduates for a work environment which is changing, which could mean working from home, which could mean working in virtual teams a lot more than they had before. So that's important. Also, I think what is very important for curriculum as we're going forward is for business students to understand more broadly than just the disciplines that they're specializing in. and to be exposed to ways of thinking and ideas which are outside of business. So not only do we talk about business contributing into the health sciences and into engineering, I think providing opportunities for business students to bring into their programs, it could be philosophy, it could be sports science, it could be design from another part of the university. So curriculum that allows business students to see that broader component. There are some trends that have been happening for a while around experiential learning and simulations, and that I think becomes more important as we go forward. In terms of, I think one of the major interesting developments for business schools, when we look at the non-traditional providers that are coming into the market, when we look at the growth of micro-credentials, etc., is that business schools will need to work more in partnership. They can't do everything, but to provide students with the opportunities they want. I think partnerships will become key. And to some extent, business schools will become, help students curate their understanding and knowledge and learning. There will be some key components that the business school itself clearly will offer, but there will be other components where it's more effective through a partnership or sort of outsourcing. So that the model of curriculum I see expanding to be more interdisciplinary, but doing that through a range of ways, not just the traditional way we do it within our own institution, but also linking with some non-traditional providers and through partnership. So I think there's a couple of examples. I've actually got quite a list, but I hope that gives some response to your question.
Very well.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for your very interesting presentation and your answers for the questions. Stay with us and thank you very much again. We have to move further. We have a video welcome words from the UK. It is Andrew Main Willson, who is the CEO of Association of MBAs, AMBA. Business Graduates Association.
Hello there. On behalf of the entire AMBA and BGA team here at our global headquarters in London, I wanted to take the time to congratulate you personally on the amazing milestone of your 25th anniversary of your MBA program in Almaty. You are today just one of 289 AMBA accredited schools from over 70 countries worldwide, which, when you think that there are over 16,000 business schools in the world, puts you in the top 2% of business schools to have obtained AMBA accreditation. I'm sorry I can't be with you personally today in Almaty because of COVID-19 travel restrictions, but I have very fond memories of my last visit with you in May 2017 in Almaty, and I look forward to joining you again in Almaty as soon as international travel long-haul conditions permit. Congratulations once again on your 25th anniversary and have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. And we have another speaker, who is Sergey Christolubov. He is a regional director of QS for Russia, East Europe, and Central Asia. He's also from the UK. Sergey, please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation to participate in this event. And we would like, on behalf of QS team, to extend our sincerest congratulations to you, Asylbek Bazarbayevich, to Gulnara Kurenkeyeva, and to the entire team of Almaty Management University on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of MBAs programs at your distinguished institution. Many more happy returns, and hope that you will have a lot of significant achievements and milestones in your future. Well, the history of our cooperation with Almaty Management University dates back to a few years ago, when Almaty Management University started to participate in our rankings. And now, as of 2021, you have really achieved significant positions in our rankings. Almaty Management University this year, its program, its joint executive MBA program with Graduate School of Management of St. Petersburg State University, has achieved an incredible position, 22nd position globally. That's the highest rank, I believe, in the history of business education in the region. So our sincerest congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Secondly, the global MBA rankings have Almaty Management University in the position in the range from 201 up to 250 as its own full-time program position has achieved this significant range. We would like also to extend our congratulations on this really, really important achievement. And finally, in our full-time MBA rankings for Asia, for business schools in Asia, Almaty Management University has achieved the 35th position in this ranking. So again, very well done to the entire team. And that's an incredible achievement. Up until 2019, Almaty Management University was the only business school from the entire region that participated in QS business school rankings. Now we have two more business schools from Russia, which is Graduate School of Management from St. Petersburg University. And then we have MGIMO, a business school, included in our rankings as well. So we are happy to see that presence of business schools in our MBA rankings keeps increasing, so that the visibility of opportunities for business education keeps growing up in our rankings. Since our topic of the session is global challenges and future of business education, I would like to share with you a few observations that we have in QS about the current landscape of business education. First of all, we are living in very challenging times, obviously, and in 2020, the number of students who decided to postpone their plans to do the business education program, this number was really, really big. So a lot of students decided not to give up the on-campus experience of engaging with students, with alumni, with faculty, and moved their plan to submit the application for a business education program to 2021 and 2022. So this deferred demand for business education can be measured in millions of prospective students, and competition for these prospective students globally has never been more fierce. We really see a lot of appetite from the UK, from Sweden, from Australia for these millions of students. And, you know, any business school is a business in itself. And of course, to run a profitable business, you really need to be internationally competitive. And we really see a lot of effort being made by business schools all around the world in terms of how actively they do international student recruitment campaigns, how actively they are present in the virtual international student recruitment conferences, and how actively they pursue, how actively they embrace the new formats of business education. The second point that we would like, the second observation that we would like to share with you is the technological capacity of business schools. Not every business school, even not every top business school, was prepared from the technology perspective to move their programs online. Even some very highly ranked business schools in Europe were not prepared from the technology perspective to do a full-fledged business education in the online format. Not just because they didn't have equipment, but one of the biggest challenges that the business school faced last year at least was the capacity of internet networks that simply were not capable to cope with the increased traffic, video traffic primarily, from millions of students doing their online education programs for the first time in their lives. The third point that we would like to make here, and the third observation that we would like to share, it's about the mismatch. It's about the gap, the expectation gap between how much students are willing to pay for an online business education program as compared to how much they pay for a full-fledged, full-time MBA program. And how much business schools are ready to charge, would like to charge their students for an online business education program. And this gap is really, really significant. Prospective students would like to pay about 50% of a standard tuition fee amount for their online business education program, whereas the management of business schools doesn't want to give any discount for if students move from a full-fledged MBA program to an online business education program. These are the points that we would like to share with you about the short-term challenges facing the business education sector. Now we would like to make a few points about the mid-term challenges facing the business education sector. In the beginning of 2000s, in the first decade of our century, the landscape of business education was driven by demand for business programs in finance and general management. This continued up to 2007, up to the financial crisis, up to the collapse of the subprime mortgages scheme in the US and collapse of a few banks. After 2007, 2008, business schools had to adapt their curricula to the change in demand of their prospective students and of the industry for particular skills that apparently were not present in the curricula of business schools. And since 2008, we have seen a lot of new programs, primarily for entrepreneurship, for corporate social responsibility, that shifted the landscape of business education to previously unexplored areas of knowledge and skill sets. Secondly, well, in 2015 and 2016, the demand for integration of technology in business started to emerge. We really started to see a lot of examples in which business education, MBA, executive MBA programs started to offer computer science programs as electives in their business school curricula. And now we do international student service every year. And in 2019, 2020, and 2021, we saw a lot of demand for particularly three important sets of skills. The first set of skills, which is now the most popular among employers, is problem-solving skills. The second most important skill sets that employers would like to see in graduates of business schools is communications, an ability of a business school graduate to communicate clearly and effectively. And the third most important skill set that graduates need to demonstrate from the employer's perspective is their ability to lead in the times of uncertainty and change, which is particularly obvious these days. And one more thing that we also have observed over the course of the last couple of years, that the pandemic has brought a lot of change in the format of business education. And now many employers, many companies, big and small companies, are willing to accept not a full-fledged degree, MBA degree, and not a full-fledged diploma of the completion of the MBA program, but they're willing to accept a certificate of a course completed on Coursera platform, for example, that can demonstrate that a particular specialist has enough skills, for example, in the area of computer science, artificial intelligence, big data. And this certificate can be enough for especially IT companies to let such people in for quite highly paid positions. How will business schools act in these kind of circumstances? How will they embrace the challenge? That's a big question that we keep asking our students, our employers in our annual surveys. And there are a variety of different answers that we see from different sectors of the economy. Some business schools would like to offer these micro degree programs, executive education programs, much more than they have done before. And some of the business schools would like to stick to the traditional model of offering the full-time and part-time MBA and executive MBA degrees. But clearly, proliferation of computer skills, of micro degree programs, of programs related to leadership in the times of uncertainty and the time of change will be much more visible in the business education landscape in the nearest future. Concluding my short speech, I would like to again express my sincerest thanks for an opportunity to be here in person, which is my great pleasure to be here. It's not my first time at Almaty Management University. I've been here a few times already, and I'm always impressed by the professionalism, by the level of sophistication that you have here in this business school. Being the leading business school in the region is a challenge. It's a responsibility, but it's also a big honor. So again, my sincerest congratulations on the 25th anniversary of your MBA programs at Almaty Management University.
Thank you, Sergey, for your speech and your congratulations. I have a question. You were talking about technology, lack of technologies and unpreparedness of business schools for this challenge. And now we see that competition is increasing from the so-called edtech companies. For example, such giants like Microsoft or Google is entering the industry. My question is, how big this threat and how much business education market they can conquer?
Well, thank you for the question. I think it's a brilliant and the million-dollar question, how big and how this threat can be really measured. I think it's a multi-million-dollar question actually, because that's the opportunity and that's a challenge at the same time. Because if big companies, those that you have just mentioned, don't need some basic skills in such subjects as history, philosophy, sociology, maybe demand for social humanitarian sciences will start to decline. That's what we have observed over the course of the last few years. And demand for like big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and other areas of computer science will start to increase. In our humble opinion, the diversity of subjects in business schools curricula will help them keep their competitive edge, to really keep their home base secure in a sense, because well, leadership and the ability to lead the company in the times of uncertainty, of course, will require a lot of finance and accounting skills, a lot of general management skills, leadership skills, but we have seen a lot of examples in which the programming skills are now being taught to stage students of business schools. For example, Stanford Business School and Harvard Business School, and I did quite a few of such courses myself, really teach a lot of programming skills to people in their late 30s, in their 40s and 50s. And some of these students embracing the concept of the lifelong education really have a lot more success in the labor market. So I think it's a demand and supply question. We really will see a lot of more supply from business schools in that space, but the demand from the employer sector for computer science, for technology skills will continue to increase. And it's, of course, very difficult to answer your question, to give you a particular number. How big is this threat and how big is the opportunity?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much so much for your answer. Dear colleagues, any question? If no, we have to move further. And we have now next video from Danica Purg. She is a president of Alliance of Management Development Association in Raising Economies and president of the International Association for Management Development in Dynamic Societies, CIMAN. And she is also president of IEDC Bled School of Management, in Slovenia, and I ask my technical assistants to demonstrate the video.
Hello, my dear friends in Kazakhstan. Best regards and best wishes from Slovenia, from the headquarters of Siemens and of IDC Bled School of Management. We are very proud of you. When we started with Siemens quite some time ago, AlmaU was the founding member, and Azhar Giniyat, your president, was the one who was starting with Siemens together with a group of other people from Central and Eastern Europe and former CIS countries. So we came very far all together. We were growing together, learning together. And today we were all also very, very proud when in Trieste a month ago, Rector Gulnara Kurenkeyeva was winning the prize for the leadership of the Management Development Institution, the champion. She became the champion. And so that also shows that Azhar Bek is taking care for people who are supporting him, replacing him in some of the functions, etc. Really great. And of course, I know that you have a very interesting topic of your conference, and I would like to be there and to talk about the future of management education, what the impact COVID had on all of us. On one side, it was giving us a very hard time, but on the other, we were starting quickly to adapt, to adjust, and to go online, because many things you can go online, but many things you also cannot. And we saw now what is possible and what is not possible. That's why in Siemens, where we believe in excellence as well as in relevance, we were really thinking about how to make management education more high-touch education, also through high-tech, so that you keep the emotions, that you are going further with these great feelings, emotional feelings, which makes this world a better place. And so today, with your MBA celebration of your MBA program, we would like to congratulate you, to wish you all the best, and to make the MBA participants really fantastic people for the fantastic world. You deserve it. Kazakhstan is a great country, and we all believe in institutions like yours, AlmaU, to make it and to contribute something very big, looking to your mission, you know, something that you would like to achieve and to make not only your country, not only your institution, but the whole world a better place. Thank you very much and enjoy the wonderful day of celebration. Bye-bye. Bye.
I thank Dani Sapur for the welcome words. Thank you. And our next speaker is also from Singapore. It's Peter Steck, head analyst of Applied HE.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor, for the introduction. My name is Peter Steck. I'm the head analyst of Applied HE. Now, Applied HE is about 24 years younger than Alma University. We were founded in January 2020 by Ms. Mandy Mock, who is our founder and CEO. Unfortunately, she cannot speak. And before that, she worked 20 years at QS in the Singapore Asia office. So that is a little bit our background. Now, I'm not a tremendous expert in business education specifically, but I've been listening to your discussions. I think some very important points were made. The first concern that Professor Becker made in the beginning was that business schools risk becoming commoditized, that you cannot really tell one from another. And the other comments made by Professor Becker and by also Professor Myasoedov, I apologize for the pronunciation, was that change is a constant, right? Now, the little contribution I'd like to make today is that my concern is that accreditors and perhaps rankers, raters like us, Applied HE, we're also a rating, ranking agency, branding agency, are putting up some barriers for institutions to make these changes, to do interdisciplinary activities. Now, let me give you some examples. And to be very honest, I don't want to present this as an attack to say, we're doing everything wrong. I think change is happening, but I think change in that sense needs to accelerate also from the accreditor's perspective or the rankers and the raters' perspective. Now, one example perhaps to cite is research. Very often the rankings take into account very prestigious management journals. But publications in those management journals, especially for business schools in developing countries, also where professorial salaries might not be so high, where teaching loads, on the other hand, are very high, is a tremendous challenge. So is that really a fair evaluation benchmark? The same question, for instance, so that's one point for research. The second point, sorry, I misread my notes, is that it's often very disciplinary related. You're supposed to publish in a management journal, otherwise it doesn't count. So then what about the interdisciplinarity that we're all speaking about? The second point is about, for instance, saying that we want to see a salary increase after an MBA. I mean, of course you want to see a salary increase. That sounds really nice. But if many of your students decide to go, for instance, in the non-profit sector, or they decide to go into the public sector, the salary increase will be a bit lower. So according to the ranking, you won't have done as well. But of course, you've done phenomenally well because you've trained the key leaders for the social sector, the government sector. And we all agree that this is the direction that we should go in. But if we don't measure it in that way, we set ourselves up for challenges. Now, I think one important thing to note is that the influence of all these rankings should not be underestimated. I mean, internationalization is one of the things that has been driven by rankings. Institutions have been starting to compare themselves to each other. I think that is very positive. Many institutions would have been hesitant in the past to internationalize, and rankings maybe have given them the push to do that. So the hope is that rankings and ratings in future will also give institutions that support to look more at sustainability and the SDGs, look more at interdisciplinary degree programs, etc. And this is definitely not unique to business, right? My background is in engineering, and often the biggest complaint in reforming the engineering curriculum is that the engineering accreditors are 5 or 10 years behind what is going on. So this is a challenge in many organizations, and I think we as raters, rankers, we need to lead there. Now, it is not easy to develop a rating or a ranking that does all of these wonderful things that I'm trying to say, because it's very challenging to measure. So our approach, and I'm not saying it's the best approach, but there's many different approaches, is to look mainly at surveys of key stakeholders, that your alumni, your students, your faculty, and your employers, and to look at the quality of delivery and the quality of outcomes. So the quality of delivery, are the students satisfied, are the facilities there, etc., etc. And in terms of outcomes, of course, whether people get a job, but also their career prospects, whether there is lifelong learning, what is their general life satisfaction after completing the program, etc. So we are trying to pioneer that in our job ready rating. And yeah, we're also doing a few rankings, but I don't want to talk too much about that. So I think to summarize my talk, I embrace the points about that things are changing. We're changing the delivery. We're trying to become more interdisciplinary. I think especially the online movement can be tremendously empowering and can be very equalizing. I mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to fly to Almaty, we're a startup with a small budget, to speak to you for maybe 10 minutes. But the fact that I can shows the power of this kind of online, these online changes that we've had. But I think it's very important that the rankers, the raters, accreditors listen very, very carefully to what the institution wants and deliver a product and an evaluation that fits with that. So I think that's my comment. Then congratulations again to Alma University. 25 years ago, you were a little startup like Applied HE, and I think you're a phenomenal example to look up to, especially given the challenging context of then a reforming, changing economy in Kazakhstan. Yeah, so congratulations again. It's a fantastic story to be following, and thank you so much. Very honored to have been able to speak to you for a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, for your speech and for your congratulations. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, any questions, please? Sergey Pavlovich, do you have a question? Because Peter referred to your presentation.
In fact, no, thank you very much. I just, I'm very, very pleased to say thank you very much to Peter, because he raised a number of very important questions and made several very important observations. Thank you very, very much. And I hope to meet you at the other conferences and maybe someday in Moscow.
Thank you, Sergey Pavlovich. Peter, I have a question for you. You are talking about changes and trends. So we see some trends which will be shaping the future business education. Among them is business education will get personal. What do you think about this trend?
No, I think that's a very strong trend. I think because the labor market is changing with job shifting very quickly, employers become more flexible in who they want to hire, but also employees are changing, right? For instance, I've been working remotely already for the past 5-6 years. I was ahead of the trend. Why did I do that? Because I'm also involved in raising my kids. So the values of employees, the way that we work is changing. And I think it's obvious that education will follow that. Students will have different demands. We were talking to an institution in South Korea, for instance. South Korea is a very highly educated country. And there you see a relatively large young generation who now post-COVID is graduating high school, entering the labor market straight away and doing night school. That is what they want to do. And I think these trends, maybe South Korea is a bit of a canary in a sense, will spread around the region and around the world.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. And now I would like to give a floor. I would mention that during our 25 years history of development, I'm talking about MBA program of AlmaU, we had a very good and reliable partner from the Netherlands. This is the Maastricht School of Management. And now we have Gans Meinhardt, CEO of Maastricht School of Management, online, and I would like to give him a floor. Dear Gans, are you with us? Do you have any questions or comments? No? Okay, if Gans will join us, we would like to, with pleasure, we'll give him a floor. But now I would like to give a floor to Asylbek Koshmambetov, President of Almaty Management University, President and founder of this university. Please, Asylbek Bazarbayevich, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for giving me the floor. I would like to tell that I will speak Russian in order to give more possibility to people from Kazakhstan in Central Asia and Russia to understand each other and to maybe bring more questions to me. First of all, во-первых, я хотел поблагодарить гостей, которые приехали из России, из Грузии, выступили из Великобритании, из Голландии, из Сингапура, за такую поддержку, за такое внимание к Almaty Management университету, к Казахстану, к 25-летию нашей программы. Я надеюсь, что ваше это участие, есть такое выражение, что горе, разделенное с другом, это половина горя, а радость, разделенная с другом, это двойная радость. Вот у нас сегодня такая не двойная, а десятерная радость. Спасибо. Спасибо депутатскому корпусу, который поддержал, приехал, выступает, активно вовлечен в дела бизнес-образования, в дела MBA. Я убежден, что это связано не только с AlmaU, но вообще с ответственностью наших депутатов за развитие бизнес-образования как основы рыночной экономики в Казахстане. Первые программы MBA, вы знаете, они появились в начале 20 века, но уже прошло больше 100 лет, уже даже 25 лет AlmaU, но мир все время меняется. И стоит вопрос, насколько программы или университеты не только следуют, но и, может быть, возглавляют тренды. Международная интеграция, чрезвычайные ситуации, глобальные экономические изменения, нейросети, ограниченность и повышение стоимости ресурсов. Все это способствует появлению новых форм бизнеса, новых взаимоотношений, новых компетенций, нового мышления. Меняются сами организаторы экономической жизни, предприниматели, управленцы не только бизнеса, управленцы неправительственного сектора, управленцы государственного сектора. Пандемия очень сильно изменила и поведение и компании, и поведение компании отдельного человека. Создала переосмысление. Теперь появились совершенно новые технологии, которые сделали рывок. И всему этому программы, школы бизнеса, университеты должны соответствовать, должны опережать. Даже появился новый игрок. Ну, с одной стороны, он был старый, но его значение, мне кажется, очень сильно возрастает. Я имею в виду аккредитационные агентства и рейтинговые агентства. С одной стороны, они должны оценивать образование, а с другой стороны, они очень сильно влияют на само образование. Они и углубляют образование, они меняют отношения бизнес-сообщества и самих бизнеса, и самих школ бизнеса. Идет оцифровывание, внедрение цифровых следов. И аккредитационное агентство и рейтинговое агентство, на мой взгляд, зачастую, что хорошо, опережают требования и экономики, и общества, и времени. Образование, на мой взгляд, ну не только на мой взгляд, я надеюсь, на взгляд многих людей, это главный двигатель развития страны. И если образование двигается, если образование развивается, если образование идет в ногу или опережает, то у такой страны более надежное будущее, чем если образование отстает. Если говорить про Казахстан, гражданское образование – одно из основных мощных трендов, которое сегодня усиливается и которое должно найти свое место и в программах школ бизнеса, и в программах MBA, и, конечно же, в государственной политике. Устойчивое развитие – одно из новых трендов сегодня для того, чтобы не только стабилизировать развитие самого образования школ бизнеса, но и для того, чтобы найти правильные новые двигатели развития образования. Сегодня есть тренд на ESG, Environment, Social and Governance, когда мы говорим о том, что не только экономика, среда, социальные вопросы, управление, корпоративное управление становятся мощными драйверами развития программ MBA в том числе. Результатом работы организации сегодня должны стать не только успешные проекты и прибыль, но и процветающие и гармоничные общества. Такого рода тренды, они, конечно же, учитываются и в AlmaU. Если взять только какие-то короткие программы, я имею в виду короткий взгляд сделать на AlmaU, то мы видим, что Sustainability and Solutions у нас на программах DBA, корпоративная устойчивость и этика бизнеса на программах MBA, социальная ответственность бизнеса – нарастающий тренд. На бакалавриате у нас новый курс Service Learning – служение обществу. Этот курс, на мой взгляд, является, с одной стороны, новым, по крайней мере, для Казахстана, но с другой стороны, очень показательным и необходимым трендом, который будет подпирать вот те программы, которые выдвигает сегодня государство, особенно связанные там со слышащим обществом, со слышащим государством. Но должно быть и слышащие студенты, которые составят основу будущего общества. Есть другие интересные примеры, ну, такие как, например, лаборатория счастья, созданная в AlmaU в 2018 году. Конечно, в мире, допустим, в Гарварде это было сделано 75 лет назад. Но мы видим, что вот этот тренд, который был сделан в дикую рыночную экономику только на какие-то производственные, цифровые успехи по прибыльности, не является тем трендом, который является трендом 21 века. Возможно, это был тренд 20 века, но 21 век должен меняться. У нас внедряются курсы счастья и самореализации в жизни. Счастье как жизненная компетентность. Выездные семинары «Неделя счастья». То есть осмысление жизни человека, осмысление целей его жизни, целей общества, целей семьи, конечно же, один из новых и сильных трендов в программах MBA. Если говорить про непрерывное образование, lifelong learning, с одной стороны, это образование получило жизнь, путевку в жизни в 20 веке, но сегодня, в 21 веке, там появляется новое, при том же названии, новое содержание. Общая идея концепции непрерывного образования, lifelong learning, она основана на замене неактуальных профессий, на переходе на новые профессии, расширении трансформации профильных специализаций, переподготовка и повышение квалификации и получение новых навыков. AlmaU хочет пойти дальше. Мы теперь от Executive Education переходим к AlmaU Extension. Что это означает? Это образовательные программы, выходящие за рамки основных образовательных программ. Это программы для пожилых людей, это программы для детей и подростков, программы для корпоративного сектора, конечно. Повышение квалификации менеджеров частного и государственного сектора, но направленные не на ту же профессию, которая была у них а на переход в другую профессию или овладение уже второй, третьей профессией. Расширение AlmaU открывает перспективы за пределы основной траектории деятельности. Расширение AlmaU Extension является центром обучения руководителей, которое должно быть чем-то большим, чем просто поставщиков конкретных программ. Я имею в виду, это связанное с философией, связанное с отношением к жизни, связанное с отношением к разным культурам, к разным религиям. Международное партнерство в форме совместных программ и совместной деятельности в Казахстане и за рубежом соответствует тенденциям, основным тенденциям AlmaU Extension. Мы сегодня нацелены на развитие мышления управленца. 11 декабря будет презентация книги «В поисках эффективной модели Казахстанского университета». Одной из глав, которой не было, не только в Казахстане, но и на постсоветском пространстве, будет специальная глава «Управленческое мышление». То есть мы считаем, что многие вещи и проблемы начинаются оттуда. Это очень сложная тема, но это не означает, что ее не надо осваивать, что ее не надо развивать, и что не надо на ней опираться. Конечно же, персонификация и личностное ориентированное образование – одно из серьезных направлений. Это направление было всегда. Обычно я, например, говорил, что целью образования является не столько получение конкретной профессии, которая очень быстро устаревает, а целью образования является, чтобы человек определил свою карьеру в личной жизни, чтобы человек определил, какие треки он предпочитает делать, и чтобы это образование было нацелено на конкретного человека, студента, а не на группу или на специальность, или на программу. Цифровой след имеет очень важное влияние становится новым мотором, новым инструментом для помощи самим университетам, помощи программам, помощи отдельным предметам для того, чтобы понять, что же реально нужно в персонифицированном виде каждому студенту. Но для этого нужны новые инструменты, чтобы этот след можно было отследить, и на этом следе не просто отследить, нужно было предложить конкретные, совсем персонализированные, индивидуализированные программы для каждого слушателя. К 2025 году AlmaU готовит, в течение полугода это будет подготовлена новая стратегия. Сейчас уже основные тренды и стратегии определены, но будет разработка через школы AlmaU. И новая стратегия AlmaU – это, во-первых, самообучающаяся, научающаяся организация. Эти слова, может быть, звучат часто, но реальных инструментов, реальной нацеленности, по крайней мере, в нашем университете не было. И мы хотим это поставить на службу и качеству образования, на службу студентам, и на службу самой организации AlmaU. Мы хотим построить то, что называется бирюзовую организацию. самоуправляющие структуры внутри университета. Потому что мы много говорим о предметах, мы много говорим о студентах, мы много говорим о преподавателях, но о развитии самого управления как концепции, чтобы он работал в 21 веке с другой скоростью, с другим охватом, с другой персонификацией. Об этом говорится мало. AlmaU хочет стать лидером в этой области. Но при этом, поскольку я говорю открыто, наверное, есть и другие организации, которые думают так же, мы готовы объединиться, чтобы создать вот эту новую концепцию образовательного учреждения. Мы хотим построить холократию, то есть самоорганизующиеся компании, передать власть должна быть не у президента, не у ректора, не у совета попечителей, а она должна быть внизу. Группы, команды, кафедры, подразделения, они должны сами определять свои цели, сами ставить себе задачи в рамках миссии и стратегии AlmaU. На заседании, апрельском заседании Совета попечителей, которое будет проходить в Аризоне, мы надеемся эту стратегию серьезно рассмотреть и принять. И в завершение я хотел бы сказать слова Федерико Майора, много лет руководившего ЮНЕСКО, который сказал: самое выдающееся достижение 20 века – это программа MBA. Мы эту программу делаем в 21 веке, мы ее хотим развить в соответствии с новыми трендами, требованиями жизни. И мы надеемся, что это мы будем не только одни, это будут наши партнеры, наши друзья, наши конкуренты, это будут запросы правительства, это будут запросы парламента, это будут запросы общества для того, чтобы производительность труда, новые технологии, новое видение, устойчивое развитие пришло в Казахстан серьезно и надолго. Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Asylbek Buzarbekovich. A very interesting speech and very fresh ideas regarding strategy of AlmaU. It's very interesting. Dear colleagues, any questions, please? If no, I have a question. I'd like to ask Asylbek in Russian because he was.
You can ask in English as well.
Сегодня меньшее внимание было уделено третьей миссии университета. Мы знаем, первая – это обучение, вторая – это исследование, третья – это служение обществу. У меня вопрос такой. Поскольку ресурсы университета всегда ограничены, я имею в виду не только материальные и финансовые, но и attention, внимание, энергия, время. Как вы думаете, если университет будет заниматься или посвятит значительную часть своих усилий третьей миссии, не пострадают ли первые две? И, может быть, за третью надо браться после того, как мы обеспечим высокий и устойчивый уровень первых двух? Как вы думаете?
Спасибо за вопрос. Я бы так сказал, мне очень нравится вопрос. Он фактически, вы мне помогаете раскрыть основную идею, как AlmaU удалось достичь тех высот, которые сегодня есть. Надеюсь, высоты будут еще большие. Я не согласен с вашим тезисом, что ресурсы всегда ограничены. Наоборот, ресурсы всегда не ограничены. Ограничено наше умение, наши мозги, наша душа увидеть или задействовать эти ресурсы. Поэтому ресурсы не ограничены, только надо, чтобы мы могли, как бы сказать, увидеть, развить и применить эти ресурсы. С другой стороны, когда вы говорите, что третья миссия – это служение обществу, но я бы так сказал, не только. AlmaU – это предпринимательский университет. Вот, допустим, предпринимательство – это тоже третья миссия. Импакт университетов, обычно я говорю, что роль университета не только в том, чтобы учить студентов. Это было в 20 веке, это была одна профессия, надолго, на всю жизнь. Но сейчас университеты могут больше. Роль университета в том, чтобы создать импакт на развитие города, на развитие страны, на развитие мира. Это все делает университет. Это тоже третья миссия. Ну и служение обществу, с одной стороны, оно никак не может быть я бы сказал, третьей миссией. Ну, мне кажется, что это первая миссия. Поэтому сейчас вот в практике, в научном подходе к управлению, к стратегическому управлению, мы всегда говорим, сначала должна идти миссия. Миссия – это более духовный фактор. Миссия – это более стратегия долгосрочная. Если есть миссия, после этого вы можете уже строить видение и стратегию. И вот умение работать на конкретного человека, увидеть его философию, его жизнь, его ценности, это больше, конечно, относится к служению обществу. С одной стороны, мы хотим, чтобы наши студенты, наши слушатели имели вот такой философский подход. И, кстати, члены Совета попечителей сейчас уже говорят о том, что а где философия, а где смысл, а где духовность? Да, мы не против экономических подходов, да, мы не против мощных технологических, технических вещей, но все должно идти к душе человека, в этом смысле к счастью. Поэтому я думаю, здесь, наоборот, служения обществу не хватает, оно никак не сможет там пересилить. Здесь просто вопрос в приоритетах. Здесь, получается, нам нужны 3 ноги, а может быть и 4 ноги образования, которые позволят Казахстану, нашим странам, которые вот пошли как развивающиеся страны, rising societies, не только приблизиться к европейским западным подходам, но и в некоторых вопросах обойти. Спасибо.
Спасибо за ответ. Вы меня наводите на еще один вопрос, если можно.
Может, не я один буду отвечать, может быть, есть и другие участники.
Да. Может быть, я...
Very distinguished members of panel.
Окей. Но мне понравилось 2 вещи в вашем выступлении. То, что AlmaU собирается стать континентальной организацией бирюзовой. Это очень в тренде. И второе, то, что ресурсы не ограничены. Это я здесь с вами полностью согласен. Это зависит от своего собственного субъективного подхода. Если я говорю, что у меня ограничено, у меня будет ограничено. Если я скажу не ограничено, это будет не ограничено. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, any questions? We have couple of minutes to finish our panel 1, and one more question. Who would like to say something on the topics? Yes, please, dear Sergey Pavlovich, floor is yours.
Asylbek Bazarbayevich, the question is pretty simple. If we look at the trends of program development, recent trends in Europe, Asia, United States, we can find out that today the programs of specialized master are growing much faster than MBA programs. Still, to the extent I know, in our part of the planet, those programs are not very well recognized by the society. What do you think about the development of specialized master type of programs?
Thank you very much for your questions. First of all, maybe you are thinking that participants or listeners of specialized masters is increasing. That should be because the world itself, it's very, very specializing, going very, very deeper. But at the same time, MBA program as a general program, in my opinion, is not increasing. They're just, we should have and general MBA and specialized master's programs because the audience is coming more professional. They need different parts of the business education, especially in the different countries, they are not the same. That means the future of specialist program, it's good, it's bright, but MBA program will be increased as well. As you know, as I heard at least 30 years ago, they was telling MBA programs is collapsing. That's a finish. We don't need any more general MBA. We don't need any more MBA themselves. We need only specialized masters. But after 30 years, I don't see that MBA programs, it's dying. They're developing, they're changing, they're looking for another perspectives, like thinking, for example, like submission, for example. They're developing not themselves, but the world as well. That means everything is okay. Sergey Pavlovich, don't cry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Asylbek Nazarbayevich. We are finishing. And I would like to thank all of our speakers which were sharing with us their great experience and knowledge. And now I have to give a floor to our General Moderator, Aigerim Kaumenova.
Well, hello again. It was a very fruitful discussion in both panels. I joined on two gadgets to listen to both. Thank you all so much. I would like to give a very short announcement to our offline participants who are on campus in AlmaU. We are going to have a short photo session now in the room of the main session. Then we're moving for lunch on the 6th floor. And after that, we're moving to atrium to the ground floor for the AlmaU talks, where our MBA alumni will share their experience, how MBA has changed their lives. And that is followed by the MBA graduation 2021. Thank you all so much for joining us today. All the best to all of you. Stay safe and healthy. Thanks. Thank you.
Where is the main session, as you told? Are you hearing me?
Main session now in the room where you're sitting.
Okay, thank you very much. What about maybe we can have a photo downstairs, atrium? What do you think? Both. Huh?
We have some team in the room who will coordinate the photo session. Thank you.
Okay. We are following your suggestion.
Thank you so much. For online speakers, it was a pleasure to see you all today. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day.